So I've been to Winchester before, and I remember walking this route, and it really was just a lovely atmosphere. So a lot of people hanging around. It was a Sunday, but it was really busy. It was like ye olde kind of market town. And obviously when you walk under these trees and then suddenly you come out and see the cathedral, it's just an awesome sight. And just behind here is the Deanery bookstall and bookshop, so also great for us book lovers. Good afternoon, welcome back to my channel. I had a lovely weekend in Winchester. A bookish weekend to some extent. I stayed just outside of Winchester, and the plan was to go to all 5 kind of known bookshops. Unfortunately, I screwed up, and the main bookshop I really wanted to go to, the Winchester bookshop, I didn't get there on Saturday, went on Saturday, it was obviously closed. I'm an idiot. So I've never been there actually, but I've heard a lot of good things. So I missed the Winchester bookshop and I'm upset about that. But I did go to the Oxfam bookshop, P&G Wells, the Waterstones, and the Deanery bookstall and bookshop. So 4 out of the 5, not bad. And it was a beautiful sunny day. Spent a bit of time down by the Cathedral, a bit of time walking down the high street, stayed pretty local in a gorgeous place, so really nice weekend. So I'll try and post a few pictures for those that don't know. But my first stop was, what was my first stop? The first stop was actually the Deanery bookstall, and I got 3 books there for £2 each. So those that don't know, it's to the side of the cathedral, kind of in the church grounds, let's say. So beautiful old stone archways, and there's always like 5 or 6 tables outside full of books, and some of them quite old, really well kind of presented, so in author or genre, etc. And then just inside, you pop inside and there's a couple of rooms of secondhand books as well. And they had a very small sci-fi section, but there was a few good things there. And I bought, there was no pricing, but I presumed it was pretty good deals. Just looking, and these are all pretty good condition. £2 each. So I got a couple of Doc Smith that I don't have. So Panther, Masters of the Vortex in the Lensman series. And apart from a few scuffs and a little bit kind of wobbly, it's in really good condition. And again, for £2 out in the wild, you can't really go wrong, and this is 1981. So I got a few of these. Let me turn off that beep. I seem to always forget about the beep. So I've got a few of these now, and I do want to, after reading A. Van Vogt, I want to also read Doc Smith. But I think you'll agree, £2, pretty good. Panther 1981. And then I saw this one next to it, which is similar condition. Also 1981, I think. Second stage Lensman, Panther again. A little bit wobbly again. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just a little bit wobbly. It doesn't feel like damp or there's no discoloration in the pages. It's kind of just it's like misshapen to some extent. So let me know in the comments how that kind of happens. I'm not really sure. So 1981 again, Doc Smith. I have to investigate the Lensman series in general to see what the order is, the sequence, how many books, etc. But it's one of those ones, a bit like Rodin, that you kind of, I want to collect and I want to read. And you always see them, not always in great condition, but I think that's probably my 5th or 6th in my collection. They're really good, £2. And then the third one, a really good book that I read a long time ago in the Sci-Fi Masterworks original series. And this isn't the best condition, but I don't usually see M. John Harrison in the wild. So I thought I would get this, and as it's only £2. So I've only got 1 copy of Centauri Device, and that's Sci-Fi Masterworks. So this is an old Panther science fiction. So a few creases, worse condition than the Doc Smith. I think someone's put like a coffee mug on it as well, so try and clean that up. But in essence, I find it quite rare to find any M. John Harrison, and it is 1975, so earlier than the other 2, and really good condition again. So that was nice. That was a nice find, and I wanted to buy from the Deanery bookstore because it is so kind of small and quaint. So I was pretty happy to get, and it was actually, I had cash on me as well, which is very rare. So £6 for those three to join the Science Fiction Retirement Library. So really good start. So the next stop was P&G Wells. So P&G Wells, if you don't know, is a very old bookshop. I think it's like something like 300 years old as a bookshop, but even longer as like a bookbinder, or the name itself, Wells. And it's very famous, very beautiful. And I'll put a picture up, or maybe a video up. But it's a modern bookshop. So I went in there. There's a small science fiction section to the right, just when you go in the door. The books are beautifully presented. It's actually one of my sister's favourite bookshops. It reminds me a little bit of one of my favourite bookshops, which is Mr. B's Emporium of Reading Delights in Bath. Just the way they present books and they curate the selling experience is just really, really nice. So I actually went through and I thought, I want to buy from here. And I'm not a big follower, as you know, of like modern new releases, etc. But there is an author that I've always wanted to read, a modern successful author. And actually there's two in this haul. But I've never got around to it. And the main one I want to read is Children of Time, because that's the one I hear of all the time. But I saw this and I thought, why not? I think I saw a review from someone, I can't remember who said it was, it was okay. It was an easy read, but it was good. And it's one of those ones where, is it because it's modern I feel it's more of a thriller? And for some reason I think it's going to be an easy read, but an enjoyable easy read. I don't know, I'm judging, literally, a book by its cover. So meet Charles, the latest in robot servant technology, programmed to undertake the most menial household chores. Charles is a loyal, efficient and logical to a fault. That is, until a rather large fault causes him to murder his owner. So, Asimovian, 3 laws of robotics, that kind of thing. Which, just something a bit different. And I want to also try to catch up with, modern successful authors and support them as well, and also not miss out, right? So there's another one on this list that I got at Waterstones that is really, uber successful that maybe I'm missing out on. So Adrian Tchaikovsky, this would be my first book. Includes short story Human Resources, which I presume is related. But I will get round to that at some point and I'll let you know what I think. Again, late to the party for this author, but nice, and I'll remember that I bought it in Winchester. So that was my 4th book, and that was RRP. I don't think that was on. And I nearly bought Shroud, which was a hardback. But yeah, that was RRP, so £10, something. So that's my 4th book. I then went to the Oxfam bookshop because it was open slightly later. It was a Sunday. And I've been to that bookshop before, actually, with my sister, and I've got some things before. It's got some really nice classics downstairs, some graphic novels, comics, etc. And then upstairs it's got vinyl and quite a nice science fiction section. And when I went, there was a lot of kind of recent reads, but to the left there was some kind of older stuff. And I actually ended up getting 2 small novels or novelettes, and I actually also got 1 comic, which is rare for me to get in like an Oxfam bookshop, but you'll see why I got it. So the 2 books I got were actually both Heinlein, so Assignment in Eternity, NEL, and I do actually have a version of this from a book haul, and I couldn't remember and I didn't want to check, but it's a different livery and a different age, so I'm okay with that, and that was £1.99, so I'm okay with that. And let me just check the year. I think it was low 70s. So 1971. Really good condition. Again, a couple of creases. I think that's probably faded there from the black. But again, £1.99, and I'm not a completist on this because it would take me more than 1 lifetime, but getting different covers from different genres, different time periods, I'm okay with. And I still haven't read it, and these should be the ones that I just kind of pick up and run through, and maybe one of them really sparks my imagination. So that was the first book from Oxfam Bookshop, £1.99, and the second one, which I think is slightly older, and I've got quite a few in this kind of livery now, where you've got kind of jet black, a very interesting kind of surrealist image. So that looks like maybe like a conch shell or something like that. But it's got kind of maybe a human face somewhere in there. And then you've got this kind of old school Panther oval. But double star Robert A. Heinlein Panther Science Fiction. It has unfortunately got this, I don't know if it was a sticker, but a rip on the back. But again, $1.99. This one is slightly older, I think. So yeah, 1968. Text block is in incredible condition, again, for its age. Maybe read once, I don't know, but a long time ago. But $1.99 again, and they were together. And there were a few others, but they were just in pretty bad condition. But again, £3.98 for two, however old, 1960s, 1970s Heinleins. So good. And I don't think I haven't got another version of that. So that's my first version of Double Star. So very happy with that. And then the last one, a 99p comic that I wouldn't normally pick up, but I think I said on a previous video that I've got a soft spot for Alan Moore's Halo Jones for some reason. So this is, and I've got the two down there. I don't think I put them into storage. Yeah, so I've got, let me show you. They might appear on a sci-fi recommendation, but I haven't got the single issues. So actually, let me open this, because I haven't opened it since I got it. It's not in great condition, but again, you don't see these in the wild. QC, Quality Comics. Look at this kind of, it's 80s, it looks very 80s. The old school paper. Comics sometimes even more so than novels have an incredible smell to them. So yeah, look at this. So yeah, I've got a soft spot for Halo Jones. There wasn't a lot of Halo Jones, so I've got Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 1 was actually from a library sale. You can see it's got there, and yeah, there's just something about it. Ian Gibson is a very, very well respected writer, and it's got a look and feel to it, a cyberpunky 80s kind of feel to it. It's kind of sarcastic, and anyway, I really liked it. So I thought for 99p, I'll throw that in at the end. I'll flick through it, and probably what will happen is I'll try and find the rest of the run at some point. So it started something again. So one comic, 99p. So that was Oxfam Bookshop in Winchester. Really good. It's books and music. I think it's Oxfam Books and Music, but really good. And then the final one, once I'd realised that I'd missed the Winchester Bookshop, which was really sad. It's kind of down this little alley with the signpost, etc. I will get to go there at some point. But I thought I'll pop into Waterstones, which again is a really nice Waterstones, it's kind of a more modern shopping mall in Winchester. Winchester is old and beautiful, but this is like a shopping mall just off the high street. And I got this. Now, this is probably, is it one of the most talked about books on genre booktube at the moment? And I don't really know anything about it. And I look at the front cover and I think Gene Wolfe. I don't know. Is that an influence? I'm not sure. But it's Christopher Ruocchio's, I don't know how to pronounce it, Empire of Silence, which I think is the first in a big series. And from what I've seen, this has only garnered crazy good reviews. So I'm really excited to read this. Again, RRP, but I enjoy flicking through. It was a good section in Waterstones, and I could buy loads, But there's a lot that are kind of reprints, obviously, of older that I want to get good copy holders. But things like this, I'm only going to obviously be able to get this, and I don't want to bother about first editions. But I do really want to read these. So if you've read this, I think most people have, in terms of modern genre or sci-fi fans. And I've just heard good things from it. So On the Wrong Planet at the Right Time for the Best of Reasons. Hadrian Marlowe, good name, because I'm a fan of Christopher Marlowe from back in the day. Maybe there's a reference. Started down a path that could only end in fire. The galaxy remembers him as a hero, the man who burned every last Kielsin from the sky. So, yeah, intriguing. And it's a big book. It's one of those ones that I'd like to go on holiday just to read it, But anyway, so that's my haul plus one comic, and although I'm disappointed that I didn't go to, I feel like the best, for me, for the Science Fiction Retirement Library, the best options would have been at Winchester Bookshop. But, you know, I can't complain. And I had a lovely weekend of relaxing, sitting in the sun, tea on the lawn. Still, because I'm so way behind, I'm still reading Mind Cage, A. Van Vogt. You'll see this a lot later, but I was reading that on the lawn in the sun, which was really good. But yeah, there's my mini haul. So I'm going to do a little bit more wherever I go, obviously, to look at bookshops. I'm going to Belfast and to like west of Scotland relatively soon. So I'll try and also, I go to bookshops wherever I go, so I'm also going to have a look there. But this is my Winchester mini book haul. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks.